Hello everyone, I'm Noah, and today I'm going to be talking about the paper that I had written for this class. Um, the overall topic of the paper kind of revolved around a good, bad, and ugly side of how or commercials about food, or commercials from restaurants or places like that kind of affect the way that people eat, or might maybe play a role in how someone feels about it or things like that. So I kind of took it and did a good, a bad, and an ugly side. So kind of saying like good would be both the food or the restaurant and the consumer got something from it. A bad would be, well, the food may have gotten something, but it didn't really affect a person, or it played a role with some people, but didn't really affect the company in any way. Um, and then ugly would be uh, it hurt both the company and the consumer. So um, what I mean by this, the exact points that I had used throughout my paper were for the good, I had talked about a Pepsi commercial that aired a couple years back. Um, it was shot in Africa during the World Cup and then was aired during the World Cup. And uh, basically, the commercial showed the men's team, USA team, going to Africa and kind of like bonding and like starting a game with the people of Africa. And like to me and many others that had viewed this, it shows a very positive role. It shows both good for Pepsi because it's a great ad. They're showing it during the World Cup, one of the biggest um, sporting events to be on air, and it also it gave Africa a kind of spotlight, and it really shows how people in Africa are and like the way they're being treated and things like that. So I feel like it kind of opened up everyone's eyes to like the bigger picture here, and so I saw that was as a good. For the bad, I had talked about how um, Coca-Cola did a commercial, and now when I say bad, I don't necessarily mean bad, but like Coca-Cola shot a commercial, and it introduced two gay dads raising a son, and they were sitting in a backyard playing games, drinking a Coke. Now, this isn't a bad thing at all, um, but this is a very political role, and a lot of times I feel that major corporations or food industries should not really take a political role, as it could affect them because of people that maybe don't support it. So anybody that doesn't really support that could kind of like lean away from it, and then it would kind of hurt them away. So yes, it had a role in the LGBTQ community, but it also kind of like it was very political, and so I found that as the bad part. And then the ugly side. For the ugly side of this, I talked about Jack in the Box, a fast food chain, and how they played a commercial a few years back of a new item that would be on their menu, and it was the new chicken bowls, and they had this whole commercial about how try Jack's new bowls and this and that, and Jack has the best bowls in town, and just making real slurry comments like that kind of teeter totter on the edge of what's appropriate and what's not. And so I found that as an ugly side because, I talked about it a little bit in the paper on how um, their stock kind of took a dip, and we see this as in it's ugly. It doesn't help anybody, and it doesn't help them. In fact, it was proven through their stocks that it hurt them, and so but in particular to the paper I had typed, I had included the Me Too movement because, and for people that don't know, the Me Too movement is a movement against sexual violence and stuff like that. And there was a lot of controversy about this commercial and how it had kind of like hurt people that were a part of that movement. And so I found that to be ugly because it hurt the company and it hurt the people. So you see where I'm going with that. While writing this paper, I learned that I'm good in the sense of being able to sit down and write a paper, but I'm not so good in the area on writing, leaving it, sitting down again, writing, leaving it, sitting down again, writing. I kind of struggle in there because I tend to get off topic. I struggle to get started again, stuff like that. So that was the main thing about this paper, and kind of what I learned about myself as a writer. Some stuff that I'll carry with me, though, would just be, the information that I learned. This was a huge learning experience for me because I never really looked at food that way, or even how different commercials could control us in the way that it does, but it really kind of influences us in our decisions. And something I'll leave behind is to just don't eat at certain places based on something you see on TV. Eat there based on morals or because you want to, not just don't pick and choose based off of the different commercials, because deep down morally that might not be what they meant and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was basically an overview of the paper that I had written. Thank you.